Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Craig. We appreciate you guys tuning in and being a part of the conversation. As we talk firearms policy, culture, politics, you name it, we're talking about right here on Coffee with Craig. We also appreciate you guys liking and sharing this video feed so that your friends can join in the conversation. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, please make sure to do that. Also, if you haven't already done it, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more people that we have subscribing, the more these feeds, these videos pop up, so we can help expand our audience. So you following us, you subscribing to us, helps us to help get the word out. So that's a great and easy way in which you guys can help us. Also, if you guys are not members, please become a member of the Firearms Policy Coalition. That's joinfpc.org, joinfpc.org. It's real simple, it's really inexpensive, and you'll help us be able to get the word out. Also, for those of you who do not know, we also have a place where you can go and buy some very cool swag. That's fpcgear.com. The cool thing about it is every dollar that you spend at FPC Gear goes right back into the fight. So you're not just looking good, but you're also having an opportunity to support our efforts at fpcgear.com. All right, let's get into today's topic. You guys know I'm a school board member. I've been a school board member now for, I want to say almost 13, 14 years now. Former classroom teacher. So I've had as well as, the parent of two adult children who've gone through the public school system. You know that education is a big deal for me. And one of the things that's really important is, as a part of that educational process, is for students and children to be able to feel safe while they are at school. And one of the things that I believe could play a significant role in making children feel safe or making children safer at schools is the ability to be able to have individuals who have concealed carry permits, particularly school staff who have concealed carry permits, to be able to carry on campus. Now, unfortunately, that can't happen now in the state of California. That's been ruled out. But in many states, not only is it happening, but it's actually starting in many states to become the norm. And what we're seeing is we're seeing some real detail type training where teachers and school staff and school administrators are able to go and learn how to be prepared in the event of an active shooter situation on their school campus. Now, there's a program that's run by a gentleman named Jim Irvine that's there in Ohio. It's called Faster Saves Lives. And it's a fantastic program. And I wanted to, and we have our good friend of ours who's been on the show before. He actually went to a training this weekend at Faster and is going to kind of give us kind of the behind the scenes look, or the 411 behind the scenes. But before we do that, I want to run this quick clip from a story that was done on Faster so that you guys can have a better idea of exactly what it is.
Last couple of years, schools from around Ohio have sent staff to a unique facility in Adams County.
There they get an education in Faster training. Among other things, they're taught to use guns. Rich Jaffe found it's about much more than that in a story you'll see only on Local 12.
These teachers and administrators have come from more than a dozen different Ohio counties. All of these students already have their concealed carry licenses and the blessing of their school boards. Here at John Benner's Tactical Defense Institute in Adams County, they're learning powerful lessons about how to use these in their schools.
Lock out! Lock out! Forward!
The two-day training is paid for by the Buckeye Firearms Association, a 501c3.
The first couple of years we trained teachers and they went back and asked for permission to carry. Now we have school boards and school administrators sending us people saying, will you please train them?
Forward!
While this is a first-level class, some school districts have already progressed to second or third levels, and the program keeps expanding.
It's a huge responsibility to carry. There's not just going through a concealed carry class, you need to go and get mindset training. The mindset is key. Knowing how to use a firearm is one part of it.
In addition to learning things like how to hang on to your weapon, personal safety training, and situational awareness, students also learn tactical combat casualty care, just like our military. And they all receive these trauma packs in case someone's seriously injured on their campus.
These people's job is to stop the shooter, okay, and then control the chaos. We want people to be as good as shooters as they can be, but the bottom line is the tactics are the thing that's really going to save people's lives.
In Adams County, Rich Jaffe, Local 12 News.
Some of the teachers and other faculty undergoing the training asked not to be identified, fearing that they might become targets for potential school shooters. Those we did show gave us permission. If you'd like more information about faster training, go to local12.com and click that red Get It button.
And with that, we'll welcome to the show Mr. Rob Morse of the Slow Facts blog. Slow Facts blog. Rob had a chance to attend one of these classes by this very same organization, the one that you just saw the video clip on. And he's going to give us kind of a feeling of, kind of tell us a little bit about what was the workshop actually like. Because you know, Rob, those stories never really give you the full kind of oomph of what it is that you're dealing with, right?
Well, you can imagine with the subject of defending students in school, as soon as the joking when you first meet, it gets very serious, very, very fast. I cannot imagine anybody being more determined to protect the people behind them than these teachers were. If you talk to them, they go, well, who are you protecting here? You or them? And they're all, you're not going to hurt my kids. When they're in their classroom, they're their kids. It's that beautiful. And they have the reticence you'd like. They're not eager to use the trigger. Let me set the stage a little bit. This particular class was for teachers who'd already been carrying for several years. So this was a refresher, and I'll call it an upgrade. There is an earlier class that they have to take before they're allowed to bring firearms onto campus and carry in the classroom. So they have experience, and you always think you have enough experience. You think you've practiced enough. When you get into these courses and get pushed under stress, you find out that you wish you trained more. And then I watch them have that feeling and then dive right in.
Wow, that's an excellent point that you made right there, because you're right. A lot of people, whenever the media tries to portray these situations, they always want to talk about it like, oh, we're just talking about handing out guns to completely untrained, completely unprepared teachers, and just saying, here, go shoot somebody if they decide if somebody starts acting up on campus. I mean, that's the attitude that they portray. But what you're telling me is, the attitude of both the courses and those taking the course is anything but.
It is as serious as any law enforcement officer or SWAT trainee. And let's set the stage. They have their concealed carry permit, so they've taken that course. They probably have a fundamentals course, which means how to handle a firearm safely and present it. Then they take the first faster course. What do you do? How do you begin to defend a school? They've now been carrying for a year. Many of them have formed their own teams in their school. So they're not alone. They're several colleagues. After school, they'll walk through the school and go, what would happen if it happened in the cafeteria? What would happen if it happened back here in the gymnasium? Or, in the art wing and the social science wing, or out here on the playground in the parking lot? They're customizing everything they learned for their environment. Often they're training throughout the year with the local sheriff's department.
That actually is a very interesting perspective. I got a video clip here of an interview that you did, a real quick snippet of an interview that you did with Jim Irvine, that's actually kind of hitting on that very point. Let me run this clip for you real quick.
So we're standing outside of a shoot house, and there's gunfire in the background, and we're told that's the gunfire from an attack on a school. Man, my heart's pumping, and I'm not even running the scenario right now.
Yeah, it's emotional. You want to hurry, you want to rush in and save the day, but you can't move any faster than you can process the information. So we want to go in a careful hurry, and as we analyze it, no problem, no problem, no problem. When we find our problem, then relax, slow down, and solve your problem.
You got it, Joe.
Gotcha.
All right, so that was a really good point that he made there. Is there something about that point in particular, Rob, that you'd like to elaborate on?
we did 36 scenarios. So you had the feeling of walking into a school. There are people yelling, they're screaming, they're your colleagues. Some are acting the part of adults. Some do a very good job acting the part of students. They have a lot of practice. And wow, you get tongue-tied. Here you take command of a classroom every day, and suddenly asking other adults for help seems foreign. It's what a police officer does at a crash scene. Everybody sit down, be quiet. I need to take control. Who saw what? What's going on here? And the scenarios varied widely. They might be, oh, it's too late. It was a suicide. You've come in. All we do now is take care of the injured, get the children to safety. Or it could be an assembly with multiple injuries and you have to intervene. So it opened your eyes. Again, compared to what many of these teachers have walked through, it was an unfamiliar environment for them. And again, they realize there's so much that they're seeing in front of them, it takes time to process.
So now tell me, do they do anything in terms of giving drills or send almost like homework assignments to send them back to their schools so that, like you said, they're experiencing these things in unfamiliar and they're experiencing these things, these scenarios in an unfamiliar environment. But then how do they take the skills that they've learned back to their environment where they're teaching or where they're working at the school and then implement or practice or put into practice those particular skills that they've learned?
Well, they have their colleagues to work with. That's good, because each one of you will remember it a little bit differently and you'll put it back together. In a 3-day course, it's hard to take enough notes to pull it all in, which is why it's great to have your colleagues there with you. Craig, you've shot firearms before. Let me put this daily test to you. Every day began with us shooting at a target. A steel target about the size of a piece of paper. Around it were the cartoon images of a number of children. It was the first shot of the day. You haven't touched your gun for 14 hours. Now you're going to walk up, take a shot on that target, and you can't miss. How close would you like to be? Every second you take to get there means another child may be injured. Every second you take to get there means you're that much closer and the shot is secure and you're confident of your performance. So you and I are both enough of a shooter, both competitive and recreational. How sure are you or I about the very first shot we'll take during the day? And we trained on that every day, because in that emergency, you will have to be able to count on your first shot. They took that experience and that attitude, a number of drills like that, home with them. They're going to go run those drills with their colleagues at the range. All
right. So speaking of drills, I have here one video where you had a chance to actually do that. You were in a situation, in a scenario where you had to move around a couple of different obstacles and fire your firearm. Let me play it real quick, and then afterwards you can kind of give me the blow by blow. So,
all right, we'll do that.
All right.
Lock out. Forward.
All right, Rob, tell me what was going on here in this particular scenario.
A school is not a shooting range. You're going to have people in the way, and you don't want to point a gun at them. So you learn to dip the firearm into the safest possible direction you can find. And unlike the range, you know you're going to have to move. You're also going to have to move forward and back, left and right. These are skills that even experienced shooters, Craig, might not have honed. Just that's not the sort of thing you and I typically practice at the range. So this is a chance to bring the teachers into that environment in a gentle way. This was one of the drills on the first day of class.
Well, and it's interesting because more and more here in particular in Northern California and in the Bay Area, it's getting harder and harder to find, to find open outdoor ranges, but number two, ranges where you can actually engage in these sorts of training scenarios. Here in Sacramento, we have the Sacramento Valley Shooting Center, and that's really about it. And even then, you have to be qualified for the pistol action bay. It is all of this stuff you have to go through in order to be able to do this and do this training. And what's crazy about it is that one would think that we want as many people as possible to be in a position to be able to defend themselves and our community in public. We would want people to be in that position. If we're going to allow people to conceal carry, then we would want them to be as trained as possible and create opportunities for them to be as trained as possible. So instead of fighting to close down ranges, which is what, in fact, anti-gunners are doing, we should be looking to open up, in particular, ranges where people can engage in these sorts of training scenarios. And in this case, where you're talking about training, to protect and defend children, it's even more vital that we're providing these sorts of opportunities.
A lot of the teachers are invited onto their local sheriff's range. So the sheriff's department, if you will, husbands these teachers along. That's great. But more to your point, Craig, there are some alternatives. Even if you're limited in the ranges you can use a SIRT pistol, which fires a laser. We did that in a number of force-on encounters because there's a hand-to-hand component of this. There's a weapons retention component. So there are a lot of things that we're not doing with live firearms. Oh, we used airsoft, force-on-force. And that hurts. It's irritating, but it's certainly not fatal. And those you can do in all kinds of settings. These one of the teachers said, yeah, the students sort of have an idea that something's going on because they find these airsoft pellets on the floor of the gym after we've practiced.
Well, that would be interesting if something like that were to occur at a school here in the state of California. I can't say
it's just airsoft, Craig.
Yes. Well, no, I know, and you know, unfortunately, anything remotely firearm relating to schools, even if it looks, even if it is a toy gun in the state of California, they take issue with. But I guess what I really wanted, and I think you've done a great job of this, is really to help people to understand that I'm a school board member. I'm a former classroom teacher, and I know that the people who are in the classrooms truly want to protect. They see them. They are their kids for the time that they have them in their classroom. Those are their kids, and they would put their lives on the line to protect those children. And the biggest challenge is for those who have taken the additional step of obtaining a concealed carry permit, taking the sort of training, and would attend this sort of training. They are in the best position in the case of a school shooting or an active shooter situation on campus to be able to protect and defend. And it's not just about having the firearm, but having the firearm is a big part of being prepared. Just like if they were CPR, you'd have them be prepared. Whatever the situation is, you'd want them to make sure that instructor had the most preparation and the best tools available to be able to protect their kids, right?
And I'm glad you brought it up. It doesn't stop with the firearm. There's emergency trauma training as well. Are these trauma kits in the schools? And often what we'll do is go into a school and say, you're thinking about this. That's great. You want to save lives. We're all on board. Show me your medical kit. And it's a bunch of Band-Aids sitting in the shop room or maybe the art room. And that's not enough. And there's not enough training to go with that. Because the only reason you'd ever bring a gun into a school setting is to stop a lethal threat. Once that's happened, we want to treat the injured as quickly as we can until first responders can relieve us. And they go through that. There's moulage. For those of you that enjoyed acting in school, you get to ham it up and claim that your leg's broken and they've got a red piece of fabric tied around it that imitates blood. And you know what? When you're in that training, your heart pumps fast because you're going, my God, this guy's flailing around on the ground. He's really hurt. Doesn't take much to get us excited.
Hey, well, you know what? Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and share with us, and for posting and for getting some of those videos over to us so that we could share it with our viewers. Once again, let our folks know how they can find you online and the stuff that you're putting out there.
I'm going to produce 3 or 4 articles about this training class. They'll all go up on my blog, slowfacts.wordpress.com. They'll probably be carried on AmmoLand and on Clash Daily as well. Thank you, Craig.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you, sir, and we'll talk to you soon. Alrighty, folks. Well, hey, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. We very much appreciate you guys tuning in. Once again, please remember to like and share these videos and tell your friends about the Firearms Policy Coalition. And if you're not already a member, become a member of the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. We got to use them or we're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.